Hi, and thank you for watching this important video. We're feeling excited to be joined by Dr. Alan Miller, and we're going to cover critical information about our liposomal supplements, why they're important, why this delivery technology changes the game for efficacy, and most importantly, the protocols of taking these supplements. Dr. Alan Miller heads scientific research and manufacturing for all our liposomal products.
For more than 27 years, Dr. Miller has been involved in dietary supplement product formulation and development, clinical study design and implementation, and education worldwide to everyday people as well as health professionals. Dr. Miller has published 26 peer-reviewed papers, 2 chapters in a textbook of natural medicine, and was a senior editor in Alternative Medicine Review for 16 years. He developed some of the most trusted supplements in the industry, including a first-of-its-kind blood vessel health product, plant-based antioxidants, and curcumin-based products. We are very honored to have him with us to share the cutting-edge science of liposomal technology supplements.
Yes. Dr. Miller, thank you for joining us today. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Well, let's jump right into it.
Yeah.
First of all, we have what is typically, common in the world of supplements, but we're using a liposomal technology to deliver those supplements. So let's start with what liposomal technology is.
Liposomal technology is a way of taking an active botanical or nutrient and encasing it in millions of tiny little bubbles. On the outside of those bubbles is a phospholipid. A phospholipid is, in this case, lecithin from sunflower. So that's one of the ingredients there. And on the inside is whatever you're binding it with, whatever the nutrient or botanical is that you are wanting to deliver. And by doing this, you have two things. You have the nutrient or botanical not getting metabolized or damaged in the stomach acid. So it's protecting the product from the stomach and vice versa. So if you have a botanical or something that normally might be a little irritating or something to the stomach, being encased so that it doesn't bother what it comes in contact with in the stomach or small intestine.
Mm-hmm.
And ultimately what we're trying to do and what research shows is that we are getting significantly higher absorption by doing this method.
Mm.
Yeah.
And is that because typical supplements get broken down by the stomach?
Not always, no, but yes, sometimes.
Okay. And as far as liposomal technology goes, is our technology, liposomal technology, different from other liposomal technologies, or are they pretty much the same?
They are not the same. No, this is a unique method that was developed specifically for this, specifically for dietary supplements, and it doesn't use some of the ingredients, some of the high pressure or heat or solvents that can be used in other forms of supplements that they're calling liposomal.
Got it. Okay. So in the world of supplements and vitamins, there's different forms that you can get of each compound, right? So
Many times, yeah.
Yeah. So I just want you to share a little bit about why the form of the compound taken is so important.
It's partly purity, and it's partly how the body is going to utilize it.
Mm-hmm.
If you, for instance, there are some B vitamins that you can purchase very inexpensively, and they have to be metabolized by the liver or in the small intestine or both for the body to then be able to use them. But if you instead use B vitamins that are already in the state that your body will utilize, then you're cutting out a couple of steps in the body. And if somebody's digestion isn't great, if their liver function isn't great, then you're getting that completely out of the way. That question is completely out of the way. You know that you're delivering the nutrient that you want directly to your tissues, and then you can utilize it right away.
Right. And like when a compound that isn't accepted by your body. The body has to actually take that compound and then change it to something else for your body to fully utilize it. And
Correct.
that in effect taxes the system.
Yes, it can. And then we just also are looking at just efficiency. If you don't have to do that, if you can deliver that active form, great. It's just much more efficient at getting absorbed and getting used in the proper place in the body.
Yeah, and our supplement line utilizes the compounds that are most bioavailable to the body.
In the right form.
In the right form. So now that we have the right form, let's chat a little bit about the right dosage and why it's important to take the right dosage.
Well, it's mostly because you want to make sure that it works. You want to have efficacy. You want to provide what you know is going to be what the body needs. And many times what you're doing is looking at the scientific literature and seeing from the scientific literature, what's the dose that has been used the most often that has been shown to work in the body. So we want to stick with that if we possibly can, instead of sort of sub-dosing people and not giving it enough.
Yeah, so I think it's commonly called the effective dose, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Perfect. So with all that said and understood, I want to go through each of our products and kind of break this down. So we kind of took it in a general sphere, and now let's go into our products individually and chat about some of the common questions for each one.
Sure.
And so first, I think we can start with vitamin C. So let's just start with the general question that most people might be wondering. I mean, we all know vitamin C is really good for you, but why?
But why exactly? Yeah. It's the first part of the but why question is that we don't make it in our bodies. It's the true definition of a vitamin. It's something that you can't create in your body. You have to get it from outside sources. So you either have to get it from food or from supplementation. You can get vitamin C, of course, from food. Do most of us eat enough foods that have enough vitamin C in them every day? No. So that's when it's important to supplement. So every cell in your body needs vitamin C. You need it as an antioxidant. Your heart, your cardiovascular system needs it. Your nervous system needs it as well. And I think sometimes that's forgotten because people, oh, vitamin C, yeah, you get it from oranges, and we need some. But you need some for a lot of your biochemistry to work properly.
Yes, and it's definitely one of the most essential vitamins, and I think that is the reason why it's included in our first 4 products when we launched the company as well. Would you say it's is there anything that you can take with vitamin C to make it increase basically to absorb it better, or is it good to combine it with some other supplements, or is it better to take it by itself?
You can take it by itself. You can also take it with other antioxidants. And when we look at antioxidants in the diet and antioxidants supplementally, they all work together. There's this whole antioxidant sort of recycling that goes on in the body. So if one antioxidant like vitamin C gets used up in a situation where you've got some oxidative stress, then some of the other antioxidants can rebuild it, recycle it back to a usable form. So that can be helpful. As far as taking vitamin C and what can you do to make it better absorbed or better utilized, vitamin C is one of those nutrients. It's water soluble, but you can only absorb a certain amount of it at one time. So that's where when we take too much vitamin C at once, you can end up having diarrhea. That diarrhea is basically caused by vitamin C that isn't absorbed, going through your intestines, pulling water into the intestines, and then you've got an uncomfortable situation. So you want to make sure that you can avoid that, but be able to take enough vitamin C. So that's, again, where liposomal comes in. So you can take enough of it via the liposomal formulation and not get the uncomfortable gastrointestinal symptoms that you might get.
Wow,
And plus have more of it absorbed into your system.
Exactly. Yeah, you're going to get a higher amount of it. And we've got research that shows that's exactly what happens. You get a higher blood level and it's more tolerable.
Yeah. Perfect. Well, as with any supplements, that's always the question. Do you take a day, midday, night,
All the
full
above.
stomach? Yeah, exactly. All of the above, full stomach,
Yeah.
empty stomach. Could we address that, please?
My easy answer to that is take it.
Yeah.
That's what I always tell people. They say, when should I take it? Take it, and take it consistently. So if that means first thing in the morning, that's when you take your supplements, great. Usually I have people take supplements around mealtime, just before, just after a meal. They tend to get absorbed better, quite often. And excuse me, and it's consistency. So it's like lunchtime is when I always take my supplements. So they're all set up, they're ready to go when you have lunch or breakfast or dinner, whatever. But
yeah,
consistent.
You want to build it
consistency.
You want to build it into the routine. So
absolutely, there's power in routine.
Yeah.
So you're saying take it with food, but if you took it on an empty stomach, would it change?
Make a difference?
Yeah, would it make a difference?
Well, the great thing about the liposomal formulations is that you're not going to get that stomach upset that you can get. I've talked to so many people that take a tableted multivitamin, let's say, and they do it on an empty stomach, and oh yeah, I was going to eat something, but now my stomach's really upset. And we just don't see that at all with the liposomals.
That's interesting, because we take a buffered vitamin C, and many times we're running to the bathroom after taking a large dose of it. So,
so now we're sticking with liposomal, our vitamin C. Well, talking about dosage. So I know there is a threshold to the vitamin C level where doesn't matter, I think, which form it is, maybe, that's just my hinge, that you will get actually some discomfort and that you will experience some side effects. And we know that typical dose is only around 100 milligrams per day. In our supplements, we have 1,000 milligrams per day. Can we talk about just dosage in general? And let's say if people are experiencing some sort of flu symptoms or something, can you actually take a double dose during the day just to boost your immune system a little bit for a few days, let's say, and then go back to the normal?
Good questions. Yeah. The body's threshold for absorption of vitamin C is about 250 milligrams at one sitting. So the people, and that does vary from person to person, I'll tell you that. And you can sort of develop a tolerance so that you can do 250 and then a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. Some people just right out of the gate, 250 milligrams gives them diarrhea. 1,000 milligrams gives quite a few people some gastrointestinal discomfort. So we don't want to do that. But with liposomal, like as you said, at 1,000 milligrams liposomal, most people don't have any problems with that at all. So it's a great way to get that nice high dose. The RDI for vitamin C is 90 milligrams. So that 90 milligrams is not the optimal dose that's going to make you healthy. That 90 milligrams a day is what is going to help you not have scurvy. So it's really the minimum supplemental dose is about 90 milligrams. And I'm all about taking much more than that, 500 to 1,000. And like you said, if you are starting to not feel great and you want to bump that up, you certainly can take more. What I would suggest is don't take more all at once. Spread it out. Do it 2 times a day or 3 times. And I know how difficult it is to take something 3 times a day. I rarely tell people to do that because it's really hard for me to do that. So at least, twice a day.
Yeah, but if you're not feeling well and there is an option to make you heal faster, go for it.
But so
that's some good motivation.
Yeah.
So is the upper limit of vitamin C absorption 250? Like you can't absorb more than that, or will liposomal allow you to absorb more of that? Because our liposomal has 1,000 milligrams. So
yeah. The 250 I'm talking about just vitamin C powder in a capsule, in a tablet, whatever. What I would say unformulated, but formulated as a liposome. Yes, absolutely, you can go higher than that. And there's no danger in doing that. Not at all.
So your body can actually take in as much as
No, because it bypasses also the digestive system and the acids in your stomach.
It does bypass, it does bypass some of the typical ways that we absorb it. Yes.
Perfect. And would you say, we talked about consistency and having the routine, but is this the vitamin that you should be taking every single day, or would you suggest taking a little break in between, kind of cycling? What is the best way to do this?
Take it every day. I really don't believe in cycling when it comes to something as essential as vitamin C. Like I said, it's something that we can't make. Guinea pigs can, and some type of bat can. Or no, excuse me, the guinea pigs and bats are with the humans. That's right. They also don't make vitamin C, but all other mammals can make their own from other things in their diet. So we have to have it. And if we don't have it, we can be sort of on the borderline of scurvy at any point in time, meaning you can have really not healthy skin. You can be more prone to infections. You don't heal as well. So there are a lot of areas where you need that vitamin C every day.
Beautiful.
Yeah, we do. We take it every day, and we suggest you do as well.
Religiously. Beautiful.
Yeah.
So let's move on to another critical vitamin, vitamin D. So with vitamin D, we want to make sure that we're getting the most benefit from it. So can we combine that with anything else to increase its potency?
And
Really, it's
actually before we get to that, let's tackle the first question, which is why is vitamin D important?
Like vitamin C, you have to have it for every one of your cells. And vitamin D has been interesting, and I've been able to see how the research has changed on vitamin D over the years. And it used to be thought of supplementally as being potentially dangerous. Like, oh, you don't take too much vitamin D, it's fat soluble and it's going to be toxic. And what we know now is that is just not the case. There have been so much more research that shows us that we can take it supplementally. We don't have to worry about taking too much. And you have vitamin D receptors on every one of your cells. So what does that tell you about the importance of vitamin D? So
what about, sorry, just to interrupt quickly.
Yeah,
so if yes, there's no such thing as too much, but if you are taking vitamin D, let's say that is not of the best form, that is your body is not really can utilize, would it treat it in a way as a toxin and just kind of store in your body and could cause potential issues down the road?
Not really. No, if you're not absorbing it, then you don't have it in your body to be able to store it someplace.
Okay.
So yeah, you do need to make sure that you're absorbing it well. And that can be an issue with some vitamin C or vitamin D supplements. So again, the liposomal is going to take that vitamin D and put it into a form that our bodies can utilize quickly, get absorbed, and use it in the body. And you did say you can't take too much. Actually, you can, but really the only documented toxicity from vitamin D has been accidental poisoning. So, accidentally taking 1 million IUs a day, that would be a problem. Yeah. And it's a good idea. It's a good idea to check it anyway. It's an inexpensive blood test to do. You can do it. There are just like little blood spot tests that you don't even have to get your blood drawn. You can just stick your finger in, and you can find out. First of all, you can find out where you are right now, it's important. It's like, am I deficient? And then later on, you can find out, did my supplementation improve that deficiency? That's pretty reasonable.
Yeah. And we get vitamin D from the sun, and most people, especially these days, they're stuck at home, right? So they're not
You're
getting
stuck at home. You're going outside, but you're wearing a hat and you're wearing long sleeves and you're wearing sunscreen. And so, many of us just don't get enough of that conversion from sunlight. The other issue is latitude. It's where you live. And certain times of the year, like I'm in the Denver area, and certain times of year, like going into the winter, you're not going to get very much conversion anyway. Even if you take your clothes off and go out into the sun, you're not going to get a whole lot of conversion through your skin. So it's a good idea to supplement year round.
And I think that's why, when winter, whatever, when everything is gray, people are more depressed and sad because D makes you more happy.
Not only that, but also sick. I read a corollary study that showed, like, when it's wintertime and there's less sun, people get more sick. So it's not just like, oh, it's cold, but it's also you're not getting as much vitamin D.
The immune system drops.
And my understanding is most people are walking around vitamin D deficient.
A lot of people are, even in really sunny places. I've got doctor friends that are in the Phoenix area, and they have documented numerous people. The majority of people they see and test are deficient, and many of them just stop testing people. It's like, no, we're just going to supplement because you probably are deficient.
Yeah.
I've had my D levels taken at one point. It's been a few years, 2-3 years. And I was really shocked that I was deficient. It's like, God, okay, we need to take more.
Yeah. Well, good news that there is actually a way to mitigate that deficiency.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, we do also every 6 months tests, and thankfully we're, pretty optimal level. We just got to keep it that way by taking it every day.
Yeah, it's really a good idea to do that testing once in a while, just to see where you're at. If you are at least at 50, I'm not going to give the units here because it doesn't matter. It's going to bore people. But yeah, if you are below 30, you're going to be deficient. So you want to get that level up to at least 50. And there's some great research on various incidences of cancers, for instance. And I'm not saying take vitamin D, you're not going to get cancer. No, I'm not saying that. Or it's going to treat cancer or anything like that. This was just an epidemiologic study that showed less incidence of breast cancer in women who had a high enough level of vitamin D. Now, could that have been specifically from the vitamin D? Maybe. Could it have been from other things they're doing in their lifestyle? Maybe.
Yeah.
But
So
it's always beneficial.
Can't stick causation on there exactly, but we know you've got receptors on every cell. It's important for your immune function. It's important to support your heart function as well.
And I heard the same thing. I heard the same thing about the thing that's rolling around, the C word that's rolling around these days. That vitamin D levels. The higher the vitamin D level, the less chance of morbidity. So.
Yeah, and again, we don't know causation on that. Nobody's done a really good supplementation study.
Yeah.
But just looking, epidemiologically, looking at blood levels and incidence, and it may be beneficial. It's like I said, it's beneficial to make sure that you supplement every day anyway.
Yeah, and our mindset is if it potentially could, and it's it's healthy to take, then we take it. And is there a way for you to make it more powerful to increase efficacy of the vitamin D if you combine it with something?
Vitamin K. Yeah, absolutely. Yep, D and K work together. And this is something else that's fairly new. It's just in the last, good research on it in the last 10 or so years that vitamin D is important. And what we used to think about vitamin D is, well, vitamin D makes it so that you absorb calcium from your diet. True. The other thing then we know that it does all of these other things and it's safe. But one of the things that vitamin K does is vitamin K sort of acts as a traffic cop with vitamin D, and it tells the vitamin D and the calcium where to go in the body. Because what you want better absorption of calcium. That's one of the things that D does. You want that calcium to then be stored, the storage form, in your bones. It's going to help your bones be healthier. And then that is a depot for your body to go get some calcium if it needs it. And you don't want that calcium to go into soft tissues, like into your aorta. So that's one of the things that vitamin K does, is it sort of directs that calcium then to go where it needs to go and go efficiently where it's supposed to go.
Beautiful. And what time should we take vitamin D? Does it matter?
Nope.
Same.
Again, take it.
Take it.
Make sure you take it. Yep. Get in a routine and take it.
Okay. How about taking it on a full stomach or empty stomach?
Either one. Yep, either one. Really, it doesn't matter that much.
Okay. And let's talk about dosage. How much, what's an effective dose of vitamin D?
This is where we have to talk about units of measure, because things changed not that long ago, where we were talking about international units. Take this many IUs of vitamin D, and a lot of the older research refers to IUs. So we'll talk about that first, and then we'll talk about how it's changed. 2,500 IUs a day is, in my mind, the minimum for an adult to take. And a lot of the research has shown that it's that actually may not be quite high enough, and you need about 4,000. And then more than that is going to raise your levels of vitamin D quite nicely. Those doses then, those translate from 2,500 to 10,000 IUs. That translates to 63 micrograms to 250 micrograms, which also tells you, now the international units was something that was a little fuzzy as far as just exactly how much you were talking about, right? And 10,000 international units sounds like, boy, that's a lot. But when you look at the actual microgram amounts that represent that activity, it's very tiny. It's like 1/4 of a milligram a day. So that's just amazing to me that that's tiny, that small amount is going to have that profound of an effect in your body.
Yeah. And is it dangerous to take more? Like, say, if a little is good, then more better, or?
More is better in so many situations. In this situation, I say, let's be safe. If you're going to take 10,000 IUs a day or 250 micrograms a day, monitor it. Monitor your blood levels. Just make sure that you're not getting up in a range that's above 100, because that's the range that you might have too much calcium being absorbed. So,
or would you
like
take
I said, it's very rare, but
possibility?
Yeah, always test.
that's why you guys monitor twice a year.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And would you maybe suggest to, like, kind of the same situation as with vitamin C, right? Not feeling well, need to boost your immune system, take it whatever 3-4 days in much higher dose, and then go back to your regular dose.
There is some research that shows that pulsing that dose, going to a higher level for about 3 days, can help your immune system, kind of support your immune system a little bit better. So yeah, I'm with you on that, and that's typically been my protocol for a number of years. And then after that 3 days, then you go back to the minimal dose.
And would you cycle this, like take a break from it, or would you just continue taking it every single day?
I just continue taking it every single day. During the summer, if you're one of those people that does get out and get some sunshine on a daily basis, great. Back off how much vitamin D you're taking supplementally. Cut that in half, just for those summer months, and then this time of year you need to be back on it.
And would you say, because it is liposomal, the more of the vitamin D is getting absorbed as well? Like if you were just to take in, let's say capsules vitamin D, most of the supplements now have K2 in them as well, so which means like it's much better. But because it is liposomal, I think you could probably get away, or would it be kind of equal of taking non-liposomal vitamin D, higher dose versus smaller dose of liposomal vitamin D, D3 and K2?
I would say in theory, yes, just because of what we know in the data that we have about how well liposomal nutrients are absorbed versus non-liposomal. Actually, that's a clinical study that we're undertaking right now, so that we'll have even better data.
That's excellent.
All right. And let's go to, what do we have? Let's go to glutathione next. So this is the master antioxidant. Let's talk about it. Why is glutathione important, what it is, and how does it benefit the body?
You already hit on it. It's the master antioxidant. It's probably the most important antioxidant in the body. It needs to be there in a high enough amount in all of our cells to do its job as an antioxidant. It does other things though, and it does some work in the liver as well. So your liver can't do its job as efficiently if you don't have enough glutathione on board. And there are many ways to screw that up, as far as diet, not getting enough protein, taking certain medications like acetaminophen or Tylenol can really decrease the amount of glutathione that you have in your liver. So
could I interrupt you just for 1 second? So if you're talking about the liver doing its right job, it's basically, pulling toxins, it's basically clearing out all the bad stuff out of your system efficiently. Is that what you're talking about?
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, there are a couple phases in the liver where this type of work gets done, and it gets done all the time, every day. Whether you're awake, whether you're sleeping, your liver is always doing this work. So there's a lot of metabolic activity going on in the liver. So you want to make sure that it's doing it efficiently. And glutathione is essential for that to happen in those two phases within the liver. So you need it. You need it absolutely. And glutathione is one of those things that you can create. You can make glutathione in your body from some amino acids. Glutathione it's a tripeptide. It's 3 amino acids kind of stuck together. But there are a lot of ways that we can screw that up. Like I said, not getting enough protein for one, not having having a whole lot of oxidative stress can do that, and then just not having just those pieces of the puzzle, those amino acids in high enough levels. And there are a lot of other things that can go wrong with that.
Gotcha. So let's talk about, efficiency. And is there anything that you can combine with glutathione as well to make it more efficient, or is there anything else that could be helpful?
Like those amino acids, can you
Like those
supplement?
amino
Yeah, can you
acids.
take those amino acids along with this to kind of increase your levels of glutathione?
You can. I like to cut to the chase and just give the preformed glutathione. There are potential issues with that in non-liposomal form, though, because this is one of those things that can be broken apart in the stomach. So liposomal form in the case of glutathione is really important, because you're not going to break this down in the stomach and then have to try to absorb it and then reassemble it in the liver. So the active form that we're providing is really, really important here.
Okay.
And again, we've got some research that shows that this glutathione gets absorbed.
Yeah,
and there's very little research that shows that in other forms of non-liposomal form.
yeah, that's what I've known for a long time, is that just supplementing glutathione in a different way, it just does not get absorbed at all.
Yeah, many times it's not getting absorbed, and there are other ways to boost the amount of glutathione you have in your body. You can take N-acetylcysteine, you can take glutamine, you can take glycine, because those are the 3 amino acids that are necessary for creating it. So you can take those separately, but like I said, I like to give the active form, the form that your body is going to utilize.
Yeah, if you're going to take the most important thing.
And another thing that I've noticed about glutathione is the taste.
The smell.
And the smell.
The smell is even worse.
Across the board, every glutathione supplement I've ever tried is absolutely disgusting. This one that we have is palatable. I don't want to give the wrong impression. It's not delicious.
Yeah.
It's not candy, but yeah, you're right.
Candy, but it's way better than
it's so much better than a lot of them that I've tasted too.
And why is that it's just impossible to make palatable?
Because cysteine, which is one of the amino acids in it, has a sulfur group on it. It's got a little sulfur and hydrogen group that's kind of hanging off that molecule. And that's what you taste. You taste that, you smell it. It smells like rotten eggs.
Yeah.
So many times I've had people, in other realms, where former lifetime and former employment, where we were providing it in capsules and powder and things like that. And people would call up and say, "Is this stuff bad?
Yeah.
Is there something wrong with this?" It's like, no, actually, it just contains sulfur, and you're going to have to deal with it.
Yeah.
In liposomal form, you're wrapping the nutrient with the liposomes, so you don't taste it as much.
Yeah.
Plus, we've got great flavorists that make it taste great. Yeah.
I mean, when you combine all the supplements together and glutathione in it in water, it just tastes delicious. So just
agreed.
This is nothing that you open, you're like, ooh, no, don't smell it. It's just the sulfur will get to you.
You will smell it a little bit, but you're right. You don't taste it.
Yeah.
The other supplements, absolutely delicious, but a little caveat but it's worth it.
It's worth it. Yeah. It's small price to pay.
Yep.
And is this the same kind of as vitamin C and vitamin D, full stomach, empty stomach, time of the day? What are we looking at here?
Yeah, there are some, I know there are some practitioners that say to take it on an empty stomach or take it maybe a half hour before a meal. If you can work that into your routine, great. If that doesn't work for you, just take it. Make sure you take it at the same time every day. Just that whole thing of it, hitting the stomach and maybe some digestion going on and of the molecule. Potentially that might happen in a small amount. Most of it's going to get through your stomach and get absorbed. Just
And because
stomach isn't where you get that absorption happening.
Yeah.
It's in the small intestine.
And what's the effective dose? Is there, protocol is there times where you should be increasing it? Maybe you're taking a break.
Again, I don't see that most people have to take a break. Definitely if you're drinking alcohol, if you're taking any Tylenol or acetaminophen, you should be taking it absolutely every day, making sure that you have enough glutathione in the body, because you're going to use some up doing those endeavors. So the supplemental dose, usually 100 to 250 milligrams a day is great. You can go to 500 if you like. Some people for certain health issues are taking more, and there's no danger in doing so.
Gotcha. Okay, perfect. So again, another daily supplement, and daily is the keyword. Next, let's talk about zinc.
Yep. So we know zinc is important because it's been, all the rage about immune function, and that's my understanding. That you take zinc, you could get over a cold rather quickly. But let's chat about why it's important in general
And what role it plays in the body.
Yeah, in general, zinc is a lot like magnesium. And we know that magnesium, that most of us are deficient, and that magnesium it's involved in about 500 or 600 different biochemical reactions in the body. Zinc is second to that at about 200 different biochemical reactions that need that zinc molecule, that zinc atom, plugged into the cell, so that certain things can happen. Proteins can be made, enzymatic activity happens, metabolism happens properly, immune function happens properly, and all of that.
Mm-hmm. And would you combine it with anything else to boost the power of that?
I like vitamin C and zinc and elderberry and vitamin D all together, just to support immune health.
Yeah, beautiful. And as far as taking it full stomach, empty stomach, and time of day as well, is that what would you suggest?
Take it.
Take it.
Take it with a meal if that's what makes you happy. Yeah.
Okay. And as far
there is some evidence. I'm joking a little bit, but there is some evidence that minerals probably ought to be taken about mealtime, just for maximum efficacy and maximum absorption.
Okay. And as far as dosage?
Zinc is normally it's a 5 milligram to about 30 milligram dose. If you're getting up to 30 or beyond, it's a good idea to take a little bit of copper as well, maybe 1 milligram of copper, maybe 2 milligrams of copper a day, because they tend to compete for absorption in the body. So if you take a really high dose of zinc, thinking you're doing something really healthy, you could actually drive your copper levels down. So, and there's a bit of a balance there.
So would you take a break from the zinc, or would you just continuously take it? And
you can continuously take it. And if you're taking that, that higher dose, just make sure that you're doing a little bit of copper as well.
Okay, perfect. So thank you for that rundown for all of the supplements in our line. I think it's really important for us to chat a little bit about immune function, especially these days. In El Salvador, I know they just gave a little
like health packages.
A little health package to everyone that had D, zinc, C, and just to boost immune function. What's your take on the importance of these supplements for immune function in general?
Without making any claims, which we don't want to do, they are all important for immune support. Vitamin C, absolutely. You do see a reduction in the ability to heal wounds and stuff like that with deficiencies in vitamin C. And we know that vitamin C is just important for immune health. Same thing with D. And I've seen some really good studies on D supplementation in institutionalized folks, where the people that get vitamin D do really well through the normal cold and flu season compared to people that don't. Glutathione as well. Glutathione, I would say, is not as important for immune health as the other ones, but it's still necessary in every one of our cells. And zinc absolutely is. So yeah, the combo is real important.
Yeah, I mean, we got to look at the holistic approach. Like glutathione, like you said, helps with the liver and the liver filter. And when your body's working properly, then your overall function of every part of your body is optimal.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I wanted to, I mean, we understand the importance. That is why, these 4 products are on the site. That is why we're selling them. This is pretty much the essential pack for your well-being. Now, if someone is on a budget and they could only select one, which one would you say of?
You're going to do that to me.
me.
Oh gosh.
I know it's a tough.
Of all of these, like I said, glutathione you can make in your body. Zinc, you can't. You have to get that from supplementation. It's a mineral. It comes from the ground. You're going to have to get it in supplementation or in food. Vitamin D, if you get enough sun exposure at the right time of year, of these 4, of C, D, glutathione, and zinc, probably C. It's crazy, but you need it. You need it every day.
Yeah. Orange is not going to cut it.
Yeah, and oranges are not going to cut it. Yeah, if you're eating oranges every single day, yeah, well, but not many of us are doing. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, not many of us are doing that.
Plus the sugar intake with the oranges. It's
yeah, you don't want to do. All right, so to make it easier,
sure.
What would be number 2?
My number 2 here is vitamin D. Okay. There's just so many of us that are deficient. And like I said, if you can get your baseline checked, do it. Find out if you're deficient or not, because you probably are.
Yeah, perfect. So we're living in a crazy time. And one of the reasons we decided to put this package together of these important supplements is because today it's never been more important to make sure that your body systems are running as efficiently as possible.
Yeah.
So we're pushing hard to get people to use vitamin D, vitamin C, zinc, glutathione daily. How important, in your estimation, is it to daily supplement these things in our time in these insane current times?
I think it's vital. I think it's vital to take all 4 of them on a daily basis. You are going to support so many different systems in the body, so many different biochemical reactions in your liver function and your immune function, heart function, all of those things, if you are supplementing with these 4.
And I know you've mentioned before, but just kind of wanted to reiterate. So if I am taking either one or all 4 of them every single day, no breaks are needed. This is super essential. Take them every day for the rest of your life.
Some people advocate, taking some time off once in a while, but I think sometimes that's more for convenience sake, rather than any good documented evidence that says, if you cycle this, it's going to work better. These are supplements. These are nutrients that our bodies need every day.
And I think the only way
it doesn't produce the body. Most of them don't.
And most of it, your body doesn't produce. Yes. Yeah.
And what I was going to say is that, ultimately, it's testing that will show you where you are. Mm-hmm. So I think it's important for everyone to regularly do their blood panels, work with a functional medicine doctor who can read and diagnose and really see what's going on with your lifestyle, with your biochemistry, with all of these things to make a really good recommendation.
Absolutely. Yep.
From what I'm hearing, undoubtedly these supplements are incredibly important, and we urge everyone listening to this to really consider strongly taking them every single day.
Yeah, adding that to your routine, even if it's just, as Dr. Miller mentioned, whether it's vitamin C and vitamin D, which are the 2 vital vitamins that your body does not really produce, but doesn't produce enough of. If you were just to take 2, make sure to take these 2 if you can afford, and do the best that your body, receive, is take all 4 of them every single day. So you're functioning properly, you're thinking properly, your mental, emotional, physical state is at an optimal level, and you can enjoy life to the fullest.
Exactly. So Dr. Miller,
like you said, it's good to work with somebody. It's good to do the testing and all of that. The great thing about these 4 is that in the supplemental amounts that we're recommending, they are safe. And if you can't afford to work with somebody or get the testing done, you can sort of own the results of supplementing with them, just in how you feel, how you function.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Dr. Miller, I want to thank you for taking the time and enlightening us with this amazing information. Do you have any final words?
I appreciate you having me on and having me be able to talk to you and your folks. And I really appreciate that, Larry, that you go to the same hairdresser that I do. So
Yeah, they're not many, but they're very
Yeah.
good. They're very
Very
good.
good.
No, it's been great. I appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Amazing.
Awesome.
Well, thanks again.
Thank